Hello, my crafty friends. Well, today I have another easy fun fold card idea to share with you, and it is in masculine style. Hi, it's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. In this episode of Stamptastic TV, I have two different ways you can use this easy fun fold card design in your card making. Now, the cards feature a variety of products from the He's the Man suite from Stampin' Up. So the suite has a fun little stamp set called He's All That. And of course, there's a coordinating die set called All That Dies. But my favorite thing about this suite is the Designer Series paper. So the Designer Series paper has, of course, a variety of different patterns, but two of the sheets in the pack also have a variety of different elements that you can just pop right out of the paper and use in your card making. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to use some of these little elements from the Designer Series paper pack to decorate the cards I'm sharing with you today. So let me show you how to make these super fun and very easy fun fold cards. Okay, so first let's talk about creating the base of our card. So the process for creating the base of the card is going to be the same for both cards. So you're going to start with a 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of cardstock. And then you're going to score the middle at 5 1/2. Then you're going to take this piece and slide it into your paper trimmer, and you're going to cut off the card front. So we're going to cut off a 2 3/4 inch piece. So basically you are left with a little fun fold flap here, and all I did was just cut off this lower section of my card front, and I'm actually going to be using this to create the focal point for my card. So we're going to create this card in landscape style, and then we're going to do the exact same thing, and we're going to create it in portrait style. So there's two different ways that you can use this card design. Okay, so first we will create our landscape style card. So I already showed you how to create the card base, so I'm just using early espresso cardstock for my card base. You can use any supplies you have on hand to create this fun fold card. So it doesn't have to be a masculine style. So the first thing I did is just cut a 2 1/2 by 4 inch piece of one of the designer paper patterns. And I'm just going to adhere it to this front flap. The next thing I did is take the same size piece of paper, so this is 2 1/2 by 4, and I'm adhering it to the inside flap. So I have the same pattern on the outside and the inside. And then I just cut a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of white cardstock, and I'm just going to adhere it to this side, to the right side of the inside of the card. Okay, so now we have our card base all ready to go. So now we can take that piece that we cut off. So this piece is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4 inches. So this was the piece that we just cut off the bottom of the card. And we'll just turn it on its side here so that the 4 1/4 inch section is towards the top. And we're gonna just adhere this to our card front. So before I do that, I'm going to add some designer paper. So this is just a 2 1/2 by 4 inch piece of designer paper. So I'm just using a different pattern. And then what I want to do is I just want to add a little bit of glue right here, kind of on the bottom. So the rest of this is going to hang over onto this inside of the card. So I only want to adhere that little section. And then you have created that fun fold section. So now on the inside of the card, I can add some additional designer paper. So I just cut a little 2 1/2 by 2 inch piece. You could add a full piece of designer paper to the back side of this piece, but I just kind of figured we'll mat this out a little bit and create a fun little inside. Okay, so that's the basic design for the card. And now I'm just going to use those elements and I'm going to pop them up on the card. So these are the little elements from the He's All That Designer Series paper. So they're just so cool because they're all ready for you to use on your card. You just have to pop them up and add them. And then the last thing I will do is just add a couple little rustic dots right to this fun fold flap. Okay, let me show you the next card. Okay, so here is the second card. So this time, instead of creating it in landscape style, I just turned the card and did all my decorating so that I had a portrait style card so that it opens this direction. So let me show you how to do this. So again, the measurements for the card base are exactly the same. You know, you're gonna start with that 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of cardstock. You're gonna score it in the middle at 5 1/2, and then you're gonna cut off this 2 3/4 inch piece from your card front. So we're gonna decorate it in this direction, in the portrait style. So the measurements are a little bit different because you're, changing the orientation of your card. So you basically have a 2 1/2 by 4 inch piece, except for you're gonna have to cut the 4 inch section first so that your design runs the correct direction. So this is 4 inches, this is 2 1/2. And this is the piece that we're gonna use on the top part of our card. And then we'll open it up and we'll add the same size piece up on that top flap. So this is 4 by 2 1/2. So this will go up here. And then on the bottom, we're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna add a piece of white cardstock on the inside. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. And so this will just go on the inside. So that's what our card looks like in the portrait style. So I'm gonna just set this aside for the moment and we're gonna focus on decorating our little focal point here. So I have a 2 1/2 by 4 inch piece of designer paper that I'm gonna add to this little piece. And then in the designer series paper pack, it was a quite long, I think it was 6 inches long. It was kind of a torn piece of paper. So I just cut it down to 2 1/2 inches. And I'm just using this on the top part of my little focal point here. So we'll just add that. Just kind of gives it a nice little contrast. And then there's a little tree element. So this, of course, coordinates with the designer paper I'm using. So I'm going to add this right on the bottom here. And then the last thing I'll do is just add this little sentiment. So these elements are really nice because it makes it really easy, quick and easy to create some fun cards. So the last thing I'm going to do with this piece is I'm just going to step it up just a little bit here, and we're going to wrap a little bit of twine around the top part of this piece before we adhere it. So I basically just did a double knot, and then I'm just going to trim off some of this excess, and then we can go ahead and add this to our card front. So again, it's the same concept. You just add some adhesive to the top part of this piece so that we can adhere it to our card front. And then we'll open this up, and on the inside, we will add another 2 1/2 by 2 inch piece, just to kind of decorate up the inside. All right, so that's what our fun fold looks like. And then of course we can just add a couple more embellishments. So as you can see, it's pretty easy to use this design, and you can use any supplies that you have on hand to create it. Okay, so there you go. Now you have 2 different ways that you can use this fun fold design in your card making. And if you enjoyed these card ideas, feel free to download the printable tutorial. You can find the link in the description below this video. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by liking it and sharing it with your friends. And leave me a comment below to let me know what you enjoyed most about the video and the cards shared here today. Have a fun and creative day, my friends. Take care.